Welcome back to the channel, and today we are back with a good one, a special one. Barcelona, the international break is soon gonna close, and we are back. Barcelona, the Camp Nou is back. Our players, Raphinha, one by one, Joan, Garcia, Lamine, Yamal, and Pedri coming back, and today we are with a special guest, my guy, Barca Volume, Miguel. What are you saying, my man?
I'm seeing a lot of things, man. We're back at the Camp Nou, baby, against Athletic Club. I wish it would have been a better team, because a pathetic club, man. As much as I hate this, I freaking hate this club, but it is what it is. I'm just happy that we're back, and I don't like it so much as an early game. I wish it would have been like a night game, but all things considered, man, you can't be happier. Today is great news for all coolers around the world.
To be honest, you're saying you don't like that against a pathetic club, athletic club, right? Nico Williams, all that. For me, I love it, right? It's like we're going to this is what's on the table. Nico Williams, we're gonna be eating the Nico, I'm saying, that Nico Williams pack. It's gonna taste good, bro. I'm telling you, it's gonna hit different. Imagine a 3-0, 4-0 first game back at the Camp
Yeah,
Nou.
if we batter
Bro,
them, then it'll be sweeter. But I feel like they don't deserve this opening. I feel like this is too much for them. But no, you're right. If we batter these guys like 3-0, 4-0, it'll be very sweet. I can't lie.
okay, guys, make sure obviously to smash the like, subscribe. We're gonna be talking about a lot of good topics, guys. But let's continue with the Camp Nou, because at the end of the day, I always say, Miguel, in life, right? Vacations are nice, but when you come back home, you realize why that's your home, because it's nice. The first footsteps back in. I can't wait, because the Camp Nou, and I'm just gonna say this. People are forgetting how big the Camp Nou was. It's like maybe the recent Barcelona fans that just became fans, I can understand. But even the ones who have been fans for like 8, 7, 9 years now, a decade plus, it's like the Camp Nou is our home. I remember having historic records in UCL nights. The Camp Nou, maybe we wouldn't win the UCL, but we'd go unbeaten in the Camp Nou year after year. And people are forgetting how big this stadium. This is an actual home court advantage that I feel like a lot of Barcelona fans are not really talking about, right? And for me, I'm happy to be back in the Camp Nou. I think it's going to be a huge advantage for us. People are forgetting what the stadium is.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. You know what? The MONTJUIC, man, that never really felt like a home game to me. It always felt like an away game. It always felt like the fans are so far away. They have like this thing in the middle, and the fans are not even close to the pitch. This is the
Yeah.
one thing that I really hated about it. There was really no atmosphere. It was non-existent. Remember, the MONTJUIC only hosts 48,000. We're gonna be able to open with 45,400 fans at the Camp Nou, with only two sections being available. Once we open that third section in December, I think it's when it's gonna be open, the section C. Then we're gonna have 60,000 fans, and those fans, going back home. There's nothing like you said. It's almost like being on vacation, and all of a sudden you're back home. That's your comfortable spot. That a lot of players, they live close to the stadium too. So, what the Montjuic, they had to go up the hill, up the mountain, and it was not an easy drive either. So it never felt a comfortable home game at the Montjuic Stadium. We don't even have great memories in the Champions League. We only have
Oh,
bad
no.
ones. We did won two La Ligas, which is
It's
remarkable. Two
impressive.
two two titles at the Montjuic Stadium, and we'll thank them for it. We'll thank them for allowing us to be there. But now we're going back home, and people, I'm telling you, they have grossly underestimated the power of being at the Camp Nou, bro. The history, the fans being close to that pitch. It's gonna be roaring over there, and you will finally going to see that back that we were missing, like for the longest time of 3 years without the fans, without feeling like a home game. This game, the fans are going to bring it. Dude. I'm telling you, it's going to be a hostile environment for Athletic
And,
Club.
and I remember, like, for example, the last big game at the Camp Nou before we left was actually the El Clasico that Frank Kessié scored. And I remember it was a game where both teams was up and down, and we legitimately won because we're the home team, and the Camp Nou just pushed the team a little bit forward. And I remember the whole move: Lewandowski back heel, Alejandro Balde crosses, Kessié scores, and that is legit an impact of what the fans can do at home. Where at the Montjuic, I don't know if that happens because the fans are far away. So
Yeah.
listen, on Sunday, or no, the game, I believe Saturday or Sunday, Bilbao. I cannot wait. That's gonna be beautiful for me. I don't mind it being an early kickoff because I get to wait a little bit less, but I do want to move on and speak about. It's not just the Camp Nou returning. It's not just coming home, but we're coming home with our weapons. Pedri Gonzalez might not make the Bilbao game, but apparently he's going to make the Chelsea game in the UCL, which is a miraculous comeback. Lamine Yamal obviously had his little break, did not play with Spain.
Right.
Raphinha, and Joan Garcia, arguably, are two of our three most important players are back returning. Joan Garcia, I'm so happy to see him back because Szczesny, at the end of the day, man, he's not Joan Garcia. But what are you saying about the guys coming back?
Dude, that's the thing, though. Like, I'm just saying, man, ever since Messi put his feet on the stadium, great things have started happening, man. That's the GOAT power right there. That's the only way I can say it, man, because look, man, we're not only going back home after struggling for so long to get back. Messi goes there. Now we're back. The fans were they already went to a training. It's already been open. There's already been blogs about, the Barcelona Camp Nou has already officially been open. So this was a news that was not surprising to me. I even said it like a couple of videos ago in a couple of streams, and I've said that we're most likely going to be back with the athletic club because I heard this from a very viable source, and people kept telling me we're not back until Real Sociedad, or I can't remember what team, the Alaves or something like, and I was just like, maybe. But now that it's the news have come out, I'm not surprised. And guess what? Not only we're coming back at the Camp Nou, but everything is falling in line for Barcelona right now. This is why I was so excited. People even Will was like, why do you feel good about it? Dude, I feel good about it because I told him we're back at the Camp Nou. Pedri coming back, Raphinha coming back, Joan Garcia is coming back. We're not going to be as injury riddle as we were in the last couple of months, and I'm sure we may get one or two injuries here in the future. That's part of the game, but not having just so many guys injured like we did, like we did in this stretch. It was a really bad stretch, and now it just paints a new picture. Like we're back at our home ground. We're back with Pedri. We're back with our core team. Basically, this is gonna be maybe if Raphinha plays on Sunday, and if Pedri plays on Sunday, and if Joan Garcia plays on Sunday, dude, this might be the first game where we have a full healthy squad in La Liga this season, which is crazy, bro.
And I want to add to that point, right? I already said we're coming back home, but we're coming back with our weapons. I want to also say this, and I don't even think it's a hot take. I think with Frankie de Jong, who was healthy, those are our four best players. I'm not going to be lying. Those are our four best guys, in my opinion. Pedri Gonzalez, we all know Pedri, for me, the best midfielder in the world. Lamine Yamal, he was second in the Ballon d'Or for a reason at 17 years old. This guy, or 18, whatever it was. Lamine Yamal, for me, the best player on our team. Pedri, obviously, the second best. Raphinha, we know the impact that he has. Joan Garcia, we have already felt in that short sample size. Talk about impact. It doesn't get bigger than Joan Garcia. He made our high line when everything was falling apart look somewhat respectable, somewhat humble, right? He legit covered up all the cracks. That's with those four and Frankie de Jong. I think those are our four best players returning. It's not like a guy like, for example, a Casado or Gerard Martin, or a guy like even right now, Jules Koundé or Dani Olmo. These are the guys that more often than not, they usually deliver. And I want to also add a point like this. Real Madrid fans, right? They were been talking the El Clasico dub all season long, laughing at Barcelona. They're only 3 points off the top. Only 3 points separation.
Only three.
Only 3 points. At the end of the day, Barcelona, if we can finish top 8 in that UCL, La Liga, there's a lot of season, man. I genuinely believe this. And with our guys coming back, like what do you think about? It's the four best players too for me, man.
Yeah, no, that's what I was telling Will too. Like when we had a video, and I'm like, dude, you realize after we have hit rock bottom in La Liga, we have hit rock bottom this season with so many injuries. We lost a Clásico coming off of 4 straight wins against you guys, and the only thing standing between us is that game. That's it. You guys have been healthy. You guys have had your full squad. You guys have supposed to be a new offense, supposed to be a new tactics with Xavi Alonso, and you guys were just literally sleepwalking through La Liga, just beating every single team. And all of a sudden, hey, here we are, man. After so much hell, 3 points, just 3 points. This is why you can't overreact, because this is the Twitter world that we live in, right? Every time you lose a game, oh my God, the sky is falling. I remember when people said, oh my gosh, we can't even beat teams in La Liga. We drew to Vallecano. We're gonna get slaughtered by Newcastle. And oh my gosh, we lost a Clásico. We're gonna get our asses kicked against Chelsea. And things like people, just so quick. Oh, because we couldn't win against Real Madrid La Liga, it's over. Like I'm like, dude, relax. Dude, this is a long. You realize after so much shit that we've been through, right now there's still at least I'm gonna say a good 70 points still to be able to compete. 70 points, dude. It's a lot of games. So don't
Yeah,
even.
yeah.
We're not even halfway through. We're not even halfway through the season, man.
No, but that's why I'm like, okay, when Real Madrid, because they played before us that day, when they drew to Rayo Vallecano, I believe, I was like, we just got to win this game. If we win this game, right? At the end of the day, we come back mid-November. There's still a lot of season to be played, and we're only 3 points off. I was like, this is not a bad, because Barcelona, it feels like every other game is like a crisis. But listen, like there's still a lot of season to be played. But I
Yeah.
do want to say this, right? I do want to move on because I think Barcelona, our next 5 games, and I do believe Barca now we have a bit more pressure to perform and grab these wins like more consistently because in our next 5 games, Miguel, right? We got
Mm-hmm.
Athletic Bilbao, obviously first game back in the Camp Nou. We got Chelsea in the UCL away from home at Stamford Bridge, right? We got
Yeah.
Alaves at home, Atletico Madrid at home, and Real Betis away from home. I think those 5 games are really tough. Outside of Alaves at home, none of these games are gimme games. I know Bilbao's been struggling, right? But I do think Barcelona, right? Maybe we got a little bit lucky with easier games away from home, but we did our job. We picked up
Yeah.
enough wins to survive, right? Now,
Mm-hmm.
I do think there is some pressure to perform with Hansi Flick and the squad.
Yeah, I mean, the pressure is going to be there regardless, bro. The pressure is going to be enormous, especially this stretch, because it's going to tell a lot about our season. We're going to have a tough stretch, but you know what? I call these stretches like almost as a true serum type of thing. Like, we're gonna be playing, like you said, you're gonna play Chelsea. We're playing Athletic Club right now, which they're not in good form, but they're a good team. They have good players. We're gonna be playing Villarreal. We're gonna be playing Atletico Madrid. We're gonna be playing Betis. So
Yeah.
it's a gauntlet. Like don't make any mistake about it. In terms of La Liga, these are like the best of La Liga that's not named Barca or Madrid. But at the same time, yes, it's a tough stretch, but it'll tell us a lot of where we are in terms of this season, in terms of this year. And if we start winning, if we start stacking up these wins against these tough teams, guess what? Now we're in December, right before Christmas, which is the last game will be Villarreal. If we beat them, if we can close out the year beating them, dude, we're gonna be in good position to win La
That's true.
Liga because guess what? Now the script flips. Beginning of next year, Real Madrid will have the tough stretch, and Barcelona will have an easier stretch. So I, having the Camp Nou back helps a lot because, like I said, having that home ground that's add a lot, and we saw it, Jonas. We saw it when we played at the Johan Cruyff. We saw how the team played. So much different because those fans are closer to the pitch,
Yes,
and
that's
that's a
true.
very, very important aspect of the game. The atmosphere, the lights, everything in the pitch. The pitch,
Yes,
that pitch.
absolutely. You know what's funny? People laugh at that, but I hate going to
No,
Vallecas, Rayo Vallecano, because why?
yeah,
Because Rayo is one of the toughest stadiums
terrible,
you got to travel
terrible
to,
pitch.
man.
The
Yeah.
the Johan Cruyff pitch is almost as good as the Camp Nou, and people said that, and it's just as big. The sizing of the field is also just as big. So this is why Barcelona was that benefits the better team always, especially those teams that like to possess the ball.
Mhm.
And we saw how Barca played at the Johan Cruyff. It was no surprise once we got back to the Montjuic, we started playing horrible again. Like it's weird. Like people don't say that enough, but like I just honestly think that people don't realize like how it is to play at home. You can see Madrid when they're playing at the Bernabeu, the fans
Oh,
they'll close the roof or whatever, and it just feels the atmosphere is a different level. We haven't had that in 3 years, man, and we still won last season with Hansi Flick. I cannot wait to see what this team can become once they can use that home field advantage, bro. I think La Liga, dude, they might be warned. I'm
To
telling
be
you.
honest, I do want to say this real quick, right? We'll speak of La Liga and UCL. I think the home court matters more in the UCL, especially in these tough games,
Yeah.
man. Especially like with the new format, how the seeding works, right? The team that's a higher seed will get the second leg at home. I think it's gonna benefit Barca more in the knockout stages of the UCL. I remember the last couple of years, obviously Inter Milan. I
Right.
wish they were at home, man, and also the year before that, PSG. Could you imagine if we were at the Camp Nou instead of the Olympic Stadium? Right?
Exactly, bro. Exactly.
I'm telling you, man, I really think, especially Inter Milan, the 3-3, if we're at the Camp Nou, I think maybe it's a 3-1, 3-2. But I also don't think, I think obviously it'll help in La Liga, it'll make games a bit more easier. But we have
Hmm.
proven that we can win two La Ligas in the MONTJUIC. So I think this will
Exactly.
more, we're going to see the impact more so in the knockout stages of the Champions League for me.
Yeah, we won one title La Liga with Xavi Hernandez, and we
Yeah.
won last season, and we also won Clásicos there too. So it was, look, man, there's not all bad memories, but overall in the Champions League, it was not good. Like, we don't have any memories back in the Montjuic that we can say,
I got a
oh yeah,
question. Quick
huh?
question. Quick
Yeah.
question. If listen, I know we're coming back to Camp Nou. Some fans are like, listen, I could see if Barca go. I'm just saying, let's be honest. If we go on a bad stretch in the Camp Nou, I could see some Barca fans. You know how Twitter is, right? Social media. Oh, let's go back to the Monjique. Is there a moment?
Nah.
Is there a moment that you're gonna maybe remember the Monjique for, just off the top of your head? Because before you say it, let me just give you some time to think about it. I'm gonna always remember that Bayern Munich game. Raphinha hat trick. I feel like he announced himself to the world, right? And remember, Bayern Munich's a team that absolutely has owned us, like for the last 10 years since the treble season. And that just felt like, it felt like, I'm not gonna lie, in boxing, when you can finally just punch somebody back. And it felt beautiful for me at the Monjique, man. His third goal, jumping the billboard. I love that. I'm never gonna forget that game from Raphinha.
No, yeah. That was a big moment. Actually, and that memory for that game is more like we arrived because we
Yeah.
had beaten Madrid, and we have and then we
Sevilla.
had and then we beat Bayern, right? So
Yeah.
those two things that happened, even though it wasn't really both games at the Montjuic Stadium, but I think you're onto something there, because I remember once we beat Madrid 4-0, and we beat Bayern 4-1, and it was
Yeah.
like a total of, like, people were making this total of like 9-1. Is it the last two games
Those
of
two teams,
Barcelona?
man.
And that was a huge moment. I don't know. I think beating Madrid at the Montjuic Stadium, it was like a dunk moment last season for me, because I remember that game that was that Fermin didn't they got disqualified, whatever. That was a good goal, bro. That was a
Yeah,
good
that was a
goal,
good goal.
and we absolutely dunked them, because they remember that game. They started winning this game with 2 goals from Mbappe. There was 2 goals from Mbappe in the first half,
Yeah, yeah,
right? That
yeah.
was that game, and dude, we by halftime it was 4-2. It was so ridiculous, bro. Like, it was an incredible game, and it was just because it was against Madrid. To me, I'm gonna stick with that moment. But like I said, there's been titles. There's been La Liga with Xavi. I thought that Liga with Xavi was amazing. That was amazing run. We didn't play the best football, but at the same time, I felt like it was very important, because that came at a time when we had the worst roster possible. Like, we
That's
just
true.
plugging and playing and duct taping things here and there. And when Xavi came into this team, we just didn't have a path. We just didn't have an identity. And for him to come here and win this title, it just meant a lot. And that, to me, as achievements, that one probably means more to me than the last one we won. The last one could be a little bit of recency bias as well.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
do appreciate winning that title with Xavi Hernandez, though. I think it was incredible.
Yeah, listen, to be fair, that's a good show because I always troll them with Real Madrid fans. The last El Clasico of the season, we gave you guys a head start, 2-0, and you still couldn't win. I love to rub that one in, but I do want to speak, right? We spoke a lot about Xavi, but the current manager, Hansi Flick, okay? What we're seeing on the pitch, I've been kind of critical of Flick this season. I
Yeah.
have to be honest, right? I've not liked what I've seen, and I've been, okay, yes, we can blame the players and injuries. I've always said, Flick, you got to adapt. And we said there's always going to be pressure. I think now Barcelona coming back to the Camp Nou, you're expected to win, right? You're getting your
Hmm.
players back. You're really expected to win now. Even if the games are difficult, I mean, at the end of the day, it's FC Barcelona. We are expected to be in and around the big trophies at the latter stage of the season. I haven't been convinced with Hansi Flick so far yet. I'm not Hansi Flick out, but I'm starting to be a little bit Hansi Flicked out. I don't know if I'm being too negative, but at the end of the day, it feels like sometimes when the going goes south, and I know it's going to help Jan Garcia, we know how good he is, and Pedri and all these guys, and Raphinha especially, right, with the pressing, goal scoring. But I don't want to say I'm losing trust in Hansi Flick, but when the going goes south, I really, in these big UCL games, I want him to adapt a bit more. But what's your stance with Hansi Flick?
I mean, to me, I think Hansi Flick out is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I do understand where you're coming from. Like what I can tell you is this: I'm not judging anyone, so I am pro Hansi Flick, and I'm probably gonna sink with him on that ship. But I understand the people who are upset, the people who are having doubts. I'm not gonna say you're crazy. I'm not gonna say that you're being dumb or that it's a stupid argument. No, it's totally fair. Look, he has problems adjusting. He has problems making in-game adjustments, is what I call it. And to be honest, I watch a lot of the NFL, and one of the reasons why I love the NFL, I'm young to the NFL. I haven't watched the NFL throughout my whole life. I watched the NFL maybe 20 years, but one of the things I love about the NFL is how good and rich is tactically, right? It's what are you doing to my defense, or what am I doing to your offense, or the other way around. And not only that, but it's almost like I'm reacting. Okay, so you're running the football, right, per se, right? You're running the football, so now I need to adapt to stopping you running the football, so that it's like a mind thing. The whole game is why I love this game. So by that same logic, why I bring this up is because I feel like Hansi Flick doesn't have that. I feel he doesn't have a plan B. It doesn't have a plan C. What's your plan C? What's your plan B? What's your plan A? You know what I mean? Like in football, we see this all the time. I don't know if it's because of that I watch football a lot, that I'm seeing Barcelona, and it seems like they play this one-dimensional type of football where like I have this game plan and I'm not going to go away from it. I'm either going to live or die by the high line. I'm going to live or die by the high press. If my players are not pressing, I guess I'll just die, because this is what I'm going to do. That's what I'm saying. If the players are not pressing, that exposes the high line, and that's why we get so many chances, big chances conceded. And Hansi Flick is not willing to say, you know what? My players are not pressing as much as I need them to press so that this high line can work. I need to pin my ears back. And that's the one thing that I criticize Hansi Flick, is in his inability to see what's going on the pitch. And he just thinks that his style is just gonna be, at the end of the day, it's just gonna be better than what you did. You'll have 3 goals, we'll have 4. Basically, that's what I was saying.
See, my thing is Hansi Flick, when he comes out on the presser, the post-game conferences, he's right in theory, right? We didn't press well enough. But, like, I was buying it for, like, the first 1, 2, 3 times he said it. But it's been, like, there's been, like, let's be honest, like 7 or 8 occasions now that I feel like he's saying the same things. And I'm like, man, you got to adjust. And also the thing is that you've shown against Newcastle. You have shown against Celta Vigo. The first half was wild, 5 goals in one half. And you're like, you know what? Instead of doing this roller coaster where it's just fight fire with fire, right? Because Celta was fighting back, right? They scored 2 goals in the first half. Let's actually game manage. And let's make it a little bit of a boring game. Newcastle, boring game, but let's take our moments. I think that goes to winning football more. And listen, at the end of the day, I'm still Hansi Flick in. But I don't – listen, I'm going to say this right now, right? And this might be a hot take. I think that this season is going to we're going to start cooking. Barcelona, Jan Garcia, stadium, everything is on the right track. Barcelona will start playing well. Or, listen, I don't want to say it, but if we start playing bad again and Raphinha, Jan Garcia cannot save us and Pedri Gonzalez cannot save us, because we had Pedri for the long while we were playing bad, then, I mean, that's why I'm saying this has to go well. Otherwise, I think Flick might be under a little bit more pressure, man.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm okay with having pressure on Flick. I think we do have to criticize him, though. That's the one thing. Like that, there's been this notion in Barcelona. We're very defensive. We're a very defensive club. Like I look at Madrid right now, and I see a lot of division. Some fans think there's turmoil. Some fans think is BS. Some fans thinks nothing's going on, and we see it, right? We see it firsthand. Will thinks it's just much ado about nothing, and Dave is like, no, this is happening, and this is BS, and we need to support the coach. So just like I see them, I see a lot of other fans just being the same way, in terms of the vision. I feel like with us, it's like if you criticize Flick, that means you're Flick out. You not
Yeah,
how
it's
dare
too
you?
defensive, man. It's
And
way too defensive, man.
we're a very defensive club, and you know it could be a good thing, but it could also be a bad thing in certain situations. Because at the minute you start criticizing, the moment you're a Madrid fan, and that sometimes this is why I try to keep a good balance on my channel. And people criticize me, but I'm like, dude, just because I said something, it doesn't mean that I'm Flick out. It just means that it needs to be said, and it's just a fact. But at the end of the day, man, I'm okay with Flick having pressure because that's probably gonna bring the best of him, and
Yeah,
that just goes to show you, the level of football and the level that we expect at this club. And it's only because we know that this is the best club in the world. So we see this club as the
exactly.
best club in the world. We almost got a treble last season, and that is crazy to say. And that was a lot in part with Hansi Flick. So I am gonna be Flick out until he leaves, basically. So I'm gonna sink with this ship, but at the same time, I will understand people who do criticize him though.
Fair enough. For me, I listen. I think of it like one of two ways. I don't think there's a middle ground because of how we play. I think either Barcelona are back and we're gonna start cooking, or I'm gonna just say it and just you could give me a quick yes or no. This might be a hot take. I think that it could get worse and uglier. I don't even want to believe this, but it could get uglier to the end of Xavi because of how Xavi, at least at the end, was starting to adapt. I remember we used to do long ball. So listen, that's just my take on it. But guys, I hope you guys enjoy this episode with Barca Volume, guys. We're gonna do maybe more of these with other Barca content creators, guys.
Yeah.
Smash like, subscribe. Get in the comments. Did you agree, disagree with any takes? Let me know. I'll get back to y'all. I'll see y'all soon. Peace. Visca Barca.